actually filmed a video yesterday, but the sound was so bad I couldn't use it because the wind was insane out here, and I wasn't able to film it inside, so couldn't use that one. So I'm gonna have to refilm this video. I am doing the 5 before you buy challenge, which I probably should be doing all the time because my TBR list is out of control, the number of books I have sitting around. So I have chosen 5 books that I'm going to, from just my stacks, that I am going to read before I buy any more. I have finished one, which I will talk about in a moment. My other choices, I've got a field guide to haunted bridges. I just have a pile of haunted bridge books for some reason. Wicked Western Kentucky, which is one I just got when I was at Lane Between the Lakes a while back. The Bluegrass Conspiracy, which is about, kind of timely in the fact that it's about the criminal case that was involved in the situation that led up to Cocaine Bear. Cocaine Bear was a real bear that ended up being sort of a peripheral thing that happened in this whole very sordid case of a very corrupt cop in Kentucky. And this book is all about that. And like I said, Cocaine Bear is just sort of an aside that happened, but the whole case is just insane. Everything that happened here ended up with somebody dead in a driveway from a failed parachute incident, just random craziness, and cocaine. Just all these things happened in this one criminal case. So, yeah, that book's gonna be a wild ride. Then I also have Haunted Bridges, which, like I said, I have like a whole stack of haunted bridge books for some reason that I have not finished these 4 yet, but they are the next 4 in the pile that need to be completed. The one that I did finish is Buzzfeed Unsolved Supernatural. Now, let me get into a little bit of internet lore here. This book is ostensibly by Ryan Bergara and Shane Madej, who were the hosts of Buzzfeed Unsolved Supernatural and Buzzfeed Unsolved Mysteries, or they just called it Mysteries, Buzzfeed Mysteries, one way or the other. They were the hosts of Buzzfeed Unsolved. They had a very large following. Both of them did online. Tumblr was majorly all about them. They were very memeable. Shane Madej is the one that if you've ever stumbled online and seen the ghosts or demons, it's me, ya boy, that is Shane Madej, that meme, that was him. They are known as a team that basically Ryan Bergara is a believer in supernatural stuff and sort of terrified of everything, and Shane Madej is a non-believer and very pragmatic about everything and absolutely unshakable in every sort of investigation that they do. So it's actually sort of wild with him, and a lot of chaotic energy because the both of them, when they go in, have a tendency to just like yell and do everything else, but it's not in the weird like frat guy bro way that some of the other ghost hunter shows did and different things. And a lot of the likability about them was their chemistry with each other and how funny they were, and they were just very enjoyable to watch. Now, they were very, very marketable for BuzzFeed. I do not know. They left BuzzFeed fairly recently, a year or so ago, and started their own YouTube channel called Watcher. I believe there's more to all that story about why they left. I do feel like BuzzFeed had a lot of people who were marketable to them leave before Shane and Ryan did, which makes me think Shane and Ryan were about their last ones left that were very, very marketable on their platform. And I feel like some of these things were Ryan's seemed to be Ryan's ideas about given things, and he was not really credited for that under the Buzzfeed banner. They now have moved on and have another very, very funny channel called Watcher with several other people who have left BuzzFeed that has shows that like History Puppet Theater, which is very, very entertaining, and they have started doing the Unsolved supernatural stuff again under a different name, and they're going to start doing the mystery stuff under a different name. So they're basically back to doing kind of what they originally did, and that is sort of implies to me that it was kind of their idea, because BuzzFeed hasn't maintained that on with new hosts, and rather than anything else, Ryan and Shane have gone on and done the same thing under a different name, which makes me think that this was their thing, and BuzzFeed kind of claimed it. Now, it could have been that they were just the hosts, but it's odd to me that BuzzFeed didn't just try to replace them and do something different if that had been all their stuff. Now, the book itself is kind of odd. It seems to be here at the last end of when they were at BuzzFeed, which makes me think that they were trying to get every last little bit of money they could out of these two. And the book is really not actually written by them. Like, they are credited with it, but the book is actually written by somebody named Anna Katz, which you have to really scour through here to find her name properly, and they credit her at certain points, but the book itself does not really mention her much, except for the fact that you realize somebody is writing these articles and then Shane and Ryan are reacting to them. That is basically the setup of the book. They each have sort of different font and they're reacting to the articles as you go through. That makes it a little weird because it starts out that her stuff seems to have sort of serious quality and does not quite seem to fit with their tone. Then as the book goes on, which is weird to me because there's no reason that this should have been in order, as the book goes on, her tone gets a little more irreverent too, and it actually sort of matches up with them a little bit better. So I'm not sure what happened. It's just kind of an odd situation that is with this book. That you start out with like them reacting to what seems like very, very serious articles, and then as it goes on, the articles start being a little bit snarky too, as they go through. So, not sure why that tone change is a little bit odd in there. Not sure why they didn't bother to put her name on the front. That just seems a little odd to me. If they had just they already had two people on there, add an extra person, but I think they were really trying to market off of these two and nothing else, and get that little last bit of recognition under this sort of masthead of BuzzFeed. But the book itself, very good, very enjoyable, very funny. The one story did make me laugh out loud. The time that basically Shane was having a lot of like digestive issues on one of the ghost hunts because he'd eaten airport hot dogs. That just got very, very funny, the whole story. This does feel like you need to have a little bit of background in who they are and what their shows were, because they reference a lot of their investigations, and I even had to go back and watch some and be like, oh yeah, that was that episode that such and such happened. I would suggest watching their stuff anyway. It's very funny. It's very good. It's just kind of a fun take on ghost hunting. Like I said, they have their own channel now, Watcher, which I would suggest going and watching because they have a lot more freedom and it's a lot of just watching them have a good time. And they just have some fun shows on there. But this is an interesting book. It's an interesting relic of a strange time when BuzzFeed was kind of a big thing and how it sort of like tapered off. And these two were sort of the last bit, I think, of big nameness that was kind of attached to BuzzFeed. Now, there might be some there that I'm just not aware of anymore that were big name people, but they're the ones that I am aware of and the ones that were very memeable and showed up a lot in different things and kind of had their own bit of like internet celebrity outside of just working for BuzzFeed. So, interesting book. The first one I have finished in my 5 before you buy here. So, got 4 more. The bridge ones, I might just condense the 2 of them together, because the one bridge book is almost more of like it's strange. It's almost more of a like tour guide to find the bridges, but not really. It's very odd. So those 2 bridge books might get slapped together. The Cocaine Bear is going to be his own thing. That whole situation is going to be its whole ordeal. And I think the Kentucky one can probably be its own thing too, because interesting stories. I knew some of them, but they've done a lot more information about some of the other ones that I hadn't heard about, and they're kind of true crimey a little bit too. So they'll probably all be standalone. But anyway, that is my first book of 5 finished here.